Time now to talk a little Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst. Does anybody sense any heat on either of their seats if things go awry this season?
I think you have to feel a little bit. Now, do I think that their heat is hot as the pavement here at Summerfest on a warm day? No, but the fact that Ed Policy has already said he's not going to give those 2 extensions and he doesn't want to do he's not a fan of lame duck seasons.
Right.
I think you have to interpret that as, okay, these 2 have to have a successful season. They have to go out there and prove it. I don't think they have to go out and win a Super Bowl or get to an NFC Championship game. As long as they make the playoffs, I think everything's going to be fine. But
agreed.
If things go south quickly and somehow they only win, God forbid, 7 games and they miss out on the playoffs and they're below 500, for the first time in the Jordan Love era, yeah, I think that's going to lead to some interesting conversations between Goody, LaFleur, and their new boss.
So let's do a hypothetical. They go 10-7.
Yep.
They're the number 7 seed, and they lose to the 2 seed on the road again. So that would be 3 straight years of being the 7 seed, 2 straight years of not winning a playoff game. They would have won 1 playoff game in the Love era. What happens to their contracts?
I'd say small extensions.
Right, I think they each get a year added on, so they're not in a lame duck year.
Yeah,
okay?
Small, yeah, a year, maybe 2.
If they go 8-9, 7-9-1, and miss the playoffs.
I think that's an interesting conversation.
Because then, if you're not a fan of lame duck seasons and you're on the record saying, like, look, that Friday, it was all clandestine. Like we weren't even able to tell you where I was that day because there was the TV folks had a separate thing, and so we didn't. No one could say what I was doing, other than I can't be on Jim, Matt, and Molly that day. But the fact that the storyline that came out of that, for all of us, for Domofsky, for Schneidman, for me, for Huber, not for Packers.com though, was that he's not going to sign them to extensions, and he doesn't believe in a lame duck season for a coach and a GM. Now, he said he would. He did not paint himself into a corner and say he would never do that.
Nope.
So I think they make the playoffs, they lose in the first round. If that ends up being what, and look, this season could be a deep playoff run too. I'm not saying it's not, but just for our hypothetical, I think they each get 1 year added onto their deal. That's what they did with Mike McCarthy going into 18.
Right.
When previously he and Ted had gotten long extensions each time. So Mike got 1 more year after that 2017 season, when they would have been a playoff team if Rodgers doesn't break his collarbone again. But
they were 6-2 when he got hurt.
Yeah,
something like that.
I think they had just
5-2.
I think they were 4-1. I think they had just won that game in Dallas. The one where Devontae Adams comes back to the huddle and says, "Throw a better ball. Let's run that same play." And then they go to Minnesota and lose, but maybe they don't if he's healthy. But my point is that I think you get 1 year added on. If they have a deep playoff run, they both get extensions, and everybody's
extensions
happy.
And no issue.
The no playoffs sub, or let's say they go 9-8 and it's not good enough to get into the playoffs. That's a different conversation now because of what the new incoming team president set forth in our sit-down with him in the alumni suite a few Fridays ago.
So I don't think either's job is necessarily in jeopardy.
I don't think either one of them are getting fired after the season.
I would agree. But again,
unless they go 4-13.
Yeah,
really
it would
bad,
have to.
right?
Yeah, it would have to be 2005 levels of just bottom falling out. But
that team was completely dysfunctional.
Oh yeah.
Although they were the best 4-12 team in NFL history, just ask him.
I don't even know if you have to ask him. I think he just might offer up
he just tells you that.
Yeah, he just might offer it up. But that doesn't mean there's not a little bit of heat there, because obviously there is. In order to secure the future of your job, you got to go out and perform this year if you're Gutekunst. I guess it's more on the floor because Goody's job is more. I mean, not that he's not doing anything during the season, but the bulk of
his job is done. His hands are clean now.
The bulk of his job is done.
Player acquisition is 365 24/7.
Yeah, it is. Sure.
That's what I've been told.
Maybe they'll trade Rasul Douglas at the deadline. Oh, wait, they already did that. That's right. Forgot about that one.
Could have used him.
Yes, right now, in fact.
He's still out there.
free agent, isn't he?
He is still available, yes.
Yeah, but bad
30.
news, yeah.
He's over 30.
I think he's 32 years old. Bad news.
But look, I have faith that these two, again, while I am not a fan of the structure in which they currently operate, it's hard to ignore the success that they've had together. They haven't had that ultimate success.
Well, but
I also don't think that that's reason, because I'm sure there is at least some portion of the fan base that if they win a playoff game in the wild card round and then get close in that divisional round like they did 2 years ago, fire them both, start over.
Right.
That's what bad teams do.
Yep.
That's what the Bears did with Lovie Smith, and they have been literally chasing ever since. I don't want to find myself in that position.
Yep.
I think you can get over the hump with these two, but they, much like a lot of the players we've talked about, have to go out and prove it.
You got to prove it. And like the general manager said after the season ended last year, I think it's time we start competing for championships around here.
He did say that.
And hopefully this is the year in which that occurs. Year 3 with Jordan Love as the starting quarterback.